Hi folks, I'm the Language Geek. Welcome to my Spoken French series in which I help you understand authentic spoken French. In this video, we're going to take a look at a video by Norman, who is a very famous French YouTuber. This video is going to be quite interesting because aside from the fact that it's a video in French, so it's always a good exercise, it's a video about French expressions that Norman finds a bit annoying for some reason. So aside from the experience of being able to understand a French video, it's also going to be a good occasion to talk about typical French expressions. The link to the original video is in the description. I advise you to watch it and try to understand it by yourself before watching my video, but it's up to you. I'm going to repeat what Norman says more slowly, highlight typical features of spoken French, and explain the use of certain phrases and expressions that he uses in the video, so that by the end the video should have no more secret for you, and hopefully you'll learn quite a bit from it. One last remark before I begin: I'm going to use very literal translations when I translate in English because I'm trying to stick to the French language as much as possible to help you understand it even better. Just letting you know, because I wouldn't want you to think that I can't translate properly. Okay, let's begin.
Voilà, je voulais faire la liste des expressions ou des trucs que les gens font quand ils parlent qui m'énervent.
Voilà, je voulais faire la liste des expressions ou des trucs que les gens font quand ils parlent qui m'énervent. Alright, I wanted to make a list of the expressions or the things that people do when they speak that irritate me. The word voilà at the beginning doesn't really mean anything. It's a bit like saying alright to introduce a statement. If you want to know more about all the different uses of this word, you can watch the video I made that's entirely dedicated to this word. Truc is a very common word used in everyday life French to mean thing. It's a bit like stuff in English, except that truc is used even more often. For example, the translation of the thing is that blah blah blah, to introduce a statement is le truc c'est que blah 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 blah.
Par exemple, dans la vie, des fois, il y a des mecs, quand tu les fais rire, ils t'insultent.
Par exemple, dans la vie, des fois, il y a des mecs, quand tu les fais rire, ils t'insultent. For example, in life, sometimes there are guys, when you make them laugh, they insult you. It sounds a bit weird to say in life in English in this case, but it's more common in French. Whenever you talk about something that happens in life in general, people often say dans la vie more often than in life in English. I've already talked about the word mec before. It translates as guy or bloke.
T'es con.
Haha, you're stupid. Note that con has the same root as the English cunt, but it's far less insulting, and in such a context, it's closer to idiot, moron, rather than cunt or bastard.
Attends, moi quand on me fait rire, je fais pas fils de pute, je te baise.
Attends, moi quand on me fait rire, je fais pas haha, fils de pute, je te baise. Wait, me, meaning as far as I'm concerned, when someone makes me laugh, I don't go haha, son of a bitch, I fuck you. Note how the verb faire in this case is used to introduce an utterance, whereas in English you would use go instead.
Après, il y a la phrase fantôme. C'est-à-dire, c'est des mecs qui disent des mots, mais au final, ils ont toujours rien dit.
Après, il y a la phrase fantôme, c'est-à-dire, c'est des mecs qui disent des mots, mais au final, ils ont toujours rien dit. Then there's the ghost sentence. That is, it's guys who say words, but in the end, they still haven't said anything.
Ouais, non, mais voilà, après, bon, d'accord, mais personnellement, c'est vrai que, bon, voilà, mais clairement, ouais.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Now, well, that's true, but personally, it's true that, well, but really, yeah. That was my attempt at translating this long series of meaningless fillers.
Zéro idée exprimée.
Zero idea expressed.
Après, des fois, il y a des mecs, quand tu leur poses une question, ils répondent oui et non.
Après, des fois, il y a des mecs, quand tu leur poses une question, ils répondent oui et non. Then, sometimes, there are guys, when you ask them a question, they reply yes and no. In English, you'd rather say, there are guys who, when you ask them a question, reply blah blah blah. But in French, it's very common to repeat the subject, saying, like in this case, there are guys, when you ask them a question, they reply. It's typical spoken French syntax.
Je pas, par exemple, tu leur demandes est-ce que t'as aimé ce film?
Je sais pas, par exemple, tu leur demandes est-ce que t'as aimé ce film? I don't know, for example, you ask them, did you like this film? Note how he said je sais pas and not je ne sais pas. Remember, we don't use ne in everyday life spoken French.
Alors, oui et non.
Okay, so yes and no.
Mais les gars, faut choisir dans la vie. Soit tu dis oui, soit tu dis non.
Les gars, faut choisir dans la vie. Soit tu dis oui, soit tu dis non. Guys, you have to choose in life. Either you say yes or you say no. Note the fact that he said faut choisir instead of il faut choisir. In informal spoken French, it's very common to drop the pronoun for this verb.
Imagine, tu couches avec une fille.
Imagine, tu couches avec une fille. Imagine you're having sex with a girl.
La capote a craqué. J'espère que t'as pas le sida.
La capote a craqué. J'espère que t'as pas le sida. The condom broke. I hope you don't have AIDS. Again, note how he dropped the ne. He says t'as pas instead of tu n'as pas, which would sound very formal.
Alors, oui et non.
Well, yes and no.
Après, j'aime pas trop les gens qui, après avoir vu un film, sortent cette expression.
Après, j'aime pas trop les gens qui, après avoir vu un film, sortent cette expression. Then, I don't really like people who, after having seen a film, say, literally, pull out, this expression. Sortir, in this case, doesn't mean to go out, as it normally does, but rather to pull out. For example, pulling something out of one's bag is sortir quelque chose de son sac. So here, it's used slightly more figuratively. You're pulling an expression out of your linguistic repertoire in a way, or out of your mind. Sortir is often used in this way. For example, il a sorti des énormités means he's been saying absurd things. Mec, tu sais ce qu'elle m'a sorti hier? Means, man, do you know what she told me yesterday? This kind of sortir is generally used to talk about people saying stupid, weird, or annoying things. Not always, but most of the time.
Ouais, je trouve ça pas mal, mais la fin était un peu longuée.
Ouais, j'ai trouvé ça pas mal, mais la fin était un peu longuée. Yeah, I found it cool, but the ending was a bit long, a bit boring. Remember the expression pas mal if you've never heard it before, because it's incredibly common in spoken French. It means, you know, literally not bad, and it's a very common way of saying nice, cool, great. Aside from that, I have to say that Norman actually made a mistake here, because the correct form should have been longuette, namely the feminine form and not longuet, because it should agree with fin, which is feminine. The reason why he made that mistake is probably because it's not an incredibly common expression, and the masculine form is definitely more common than the feminine one, because people generally say c'était un peu longuet. So in this case, he could have said à la fin, c'était un peu longuet, so in the end it was a bit long, a bit boring, or la fin était un peu longuette, but not la fin était un peu longuet, because that's a mistake.
Il y a que quand on voit un film qu'on dit un peu longuet.
Il y a que quand on voit un film qu'on dit un peu longuet. It's only when we watch a film that we say un peu longuet. Note how he says y a que instead of il n'y a que.
Je sais pas, jamais par exemple un criminel va dire.
Je sais pas, jamais par exemple un criminel va dire. I don't know, never for example a criminal is going to say.
J'ai fait 15 ans de tôle. Bon, je te cache pas que j'ai trouvé ça un peu longuet.
J'ai fait 15 ans de tôle. Bon, je te cache pas que j'ai trouvé ça un peu longuet. I was in jail for 15 years. Right, I have to say, literally, I don't hide from you that I found it a bit long. Tôle is a slang word for jail, prison. By the way, he's saying that a prisoner would never say that. Actually, I think a prisoner could say that after getting out of jail in a humorous way. But yes, it would be humorous because that's generally not the kinds of situations in which you use this word. Longuet is most often used to talk about a film indeed, or a concert, or a conference. In other words, when you're part of an audience, watching or listening to something.
Après, il y a un truc, c'est le ouais aspiré.
Après, il y a un truc, c'est le ouais aspiré. Then, there's a thing, it's the aspirated ouais. Ouais means yeah. Again, note how, as I told you is very common in spoken French, he's repeating the subject. In English, you'd rather say something like, then there's another thing, the aspirated ouais. Instead, he says, there's a thing, it's the aspirated ouais. Typical spoken French syntax. I'm still planning to make a video specifically dedicated to spoken French syntax. I have to do it. I'll definitely do it sometime.
Il y a des mecs, quand tu leur parles et qu'ils t'écoutent, ils disent le mot ouais en aspirant de l'air.
Il y a des mecs, quand tu leur parles et qu'ils t'écoutent, ils disent le mot ouais en aspirant de l'air. There are guys, when you speak to them and they're listening to you, they say the word ouais by aspirating air. Again, same kind of phenomenon, typical spoken French syntax. There are guys, when you speak to them, they blah blah blah. In English, you'd rather say there are guys who, when you speak to them, say the word ouais.
Ouais. Ouais. Premièrement, ça te donne un petit côté secrétaire ou Madame Pipi très dégueulasse.
Premièrement, ça te donne un petit côté secrétaire ou Madame Pipi très dégueulasse. Firstly, it makes you look or sound a bit like a secretary or a very disgusting Madame Pipi, literally Mrs. P. Okay, there are a few things to explain here. First of all, Madame Pipi literally means Mrs. P. It's how the toilet attendant is commonly referred to in spoken French, the person who is sitting on a chair near the entrance of the toilet and who you have to pay. And we say Madame because she's generally, if not always, a woman. Now, the second thing is the expression un petit côté, which literally translates as a little side. You can also sometimes just say un côté. Let's say your boss makes you think of Dr. House for some reason. You could say il a un côté or un petit côté, Dr. House, which would literally translate as something like he's got a Dr. House side or he's got a little Dr. House side, and it means he looks a bit like Dr. House. He makes me think of Dr. House. There's something about him that's a bit like Dr. House. Now, it's not just used to talk about resemblance, but also to depict aspects of someone's personality or behavior. For example, elle a un petit côté mère juive, means she's a bit like a Jewish mother. You could also say elle a un petit côté surprotecteur. She's a bit overprotective. So in this case, he's using the expression un petit côté to say that people who use the aspirated ouais somehow remind him of some kind of secretary or Madame Pipi.
Deuxièmement, c'est bizarre parce que c'est le seul mot qu'on peut dire en aspirant.
Deuxièmement, c'est bizarre parce que c'est le seul mot qu'on peut dire en aspirant. Secondly, it's weird because it's the only word we can say by aspirating.
Jamais personne va faire
Jamais personne va faire. No one's ever gonna go.
ouais, et toi?
Hi, you're right. Yeah, I'm alright. You? I'm alright.
Il y a aussi une expression qui m'énerve, c'est une expression qui consiste à demander si c'est une blague.
Il y a aussi une expression qui m'énerve. C'est une expression qui consiste à demander si c'est une blague. There's also an expression that irritates me. It's an expression that consists in asking if it's a joke.
Oh merde! Je suis parti de chez moi et j'ai complètement oublié de te ramener ton album de One Direction.
Oh merde, je suis parti de chez moi et j'ai complètement oublié de te ramener ton album de One Direction. Oh shit, I left home and I completely forgot to bring you back your album of One Direction.
C'est une blague! Évidemment que c'est pas une blague. Comme si on allait répondre.
C'est une blague. Évidemment que c'est pas une blague. Comme si on allait répondre It's a joke, meaning is it a joke? Are you kidding? Of course it's not a joke. As if we were going to reply
Ouais, carrément, c'est une blague. D'ailleurs, c'est la vanne d'intro de mon prochain one-man show.
Ouais, carrément, c'est une blague. D'ailleurs, c'est la vanne d'intro de mon prochain one-man show. Yeah, absolutely. It's a joke. Actually, it's the opening joke of my next one-man show. Carrément is one of those words that are a bit difficult to translate in English. In this context, it can be compared to the informal use of the word totally by American teenagers in English, as in, yeah, totally. As for the word van, it's a slang word for joke. Otherwise, the more standard way of saying a joke is une blague.
J'ai oublié ton CD à la maison, je pense qu'ils vont vraiment rigoler, c'est très très bien trouvé.
J'ai oublié ton CD à la maison. Je pense qu'ils vont vraiment rigoler. C'est très très bien trouvé. I've forgotten your CD at home. I think they'll really laugh. It's very, very well found. In that case, well found means very smart, original.
Bon après évidemment il y a aussi les mecs un peu à l'ancienne qui au lieu d'utiliser leurs propres mots préfèrent utiliser des phrases préconçues un peu ringardes.
Bon, après évidemment il y a aussi les mecs un peu à l'ancienne qui, au lieu d'utiliser leurs propres mots, préfèrent utiliser des phrases préconçues un peu ringardes. Right, then of course, which I would rather translate as now of course in English, there's also guys who are a bit old school, literally guys a bit old school, and who, instead of using their own words, prefer using pre-made, a bit old-fashioned sentences. Note the expressions à l'ancienne and ringard. À l'ancienne means old school, or in the old school way. For example, you can say il cuisine à l'ancienne, which means he cooks in the old school way. Ringard, on the other hand, means old-fashioned, in a bad sense, namely unfashionable, uncool.
Sans comme je dis toujours, qui peut le moins peut le plus.
De toute façon, comme je dis toujours, qui peut le moins, peut le plus. At any rate, as I always say, who can do the least can do the most, or who can do less can do more. Okay, I know it's hard to believe, but he's reducing de toute façon, which means at any rate, so much that it becomes son. See, this is why I'm here, you would have never guessed without me. There are different degrees of reduction. First, de toute façon becomes toute façon, then de façon, then ton, and then son. Like many extremely common phrases, de toute façon tends to be very strongly reduced in spoken French. Now, as for the expression he's talking about, he said it wrong actually, but it's hard to tell if it's meant as a joke or if he really got that wrong. At any rate, it should be qui peut le plus, peut le moins. Who can do more, can do less.
Ah, va savoir.
Hey, who knows? Literally, go know. Va savoir literally translates as go know, but it means something like who knows or you never know.
Allez, qu'à cela ne tienne.
Allez, qu'à cela ne tienne. Right, anyway. Qu'à cela ne tienne is an old-fashioned way of saying it doesn't matter anyway, regardless of that.
Ma foi, c'est la vie.
Ma foi, c'est la vie. Well, that's life. Ma foi is an old-fashioned way, again, of saying, well, frankly, in all honesty, to tell you the truth, and it literally means my faith.
De toute façon, comme on dit, bien manger, c'est le début du bonheur.
De toute façon, comme on dit, bien manger, c'est le début du bonheur. At any rate, or anyway, as we say, eating well, it's the beginning of happiness. Again, note how de toute façon has been reduced, and note the typically French syntax. He literally says, eating well, it's the beginning of happiness, instead of eating well is the beginning of happiness.
Ah non, ça c'est une pub. Non, je me suis trompé.
Ah non, ça c'est une pub. Non, je me suis trompé. Oh no, that's an ad. No, I got it wrong. Again, typical spoken French syntax. He's literally saying, oh no, that's an ad.
Dans le même genre, il y a aussi les mecs qui font un commentaire dès que t'éternues.
Dans le même genre, il y a aussi les mecs qui font un commentaire dès que t'éternues. In the same style, there's also guys who make a comment as soon as you sneeze.
Ah, à tes souhaits. Ah, à tes amours.
Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. Okay, there's no way I can really translate that. In English, you just say bless you when someone sneezes, or if you're a gentleman, you just don't say anything. In French, bless you is à tes souhaits. And then if the person sneezes several times in a row, you can say a different thing each time. So the next thing is à tes amours, and then other stuff like that, which I don't even remember. Now, of course, Norman makes fun of this practice because it's very uncool and quite annoying.
Ah, à tes amours. Bon, j'ai la grippe. Tu vas pas le dire toute la journée à chaque fois.
Bon, j'ai la grippe. Tu vas pas le dire toute la journée à chaque fois. Right, I've got the flu. You're not going to tell me that all day long each time.
Après, il y a aussi les bilingues en anglais qui, juste pour s'appêter, aiment bien caser des petites expressions en faisant genre ils ont pas fait exprès.
Après, il y a aussi les bilingues en anglais qui, juste pour se la péter, aiment bien caser des petites expressions en faisant genre ils ont pas fait exprès. Then there's bilinguals in English who, just to show off, like to slip in little expressions while pretending they didn't do it on purpose. Okay, there are 3 typical spoken French expressions here. There's faire genre, which is a familiar way of saying to pretend. It's a rather recent expression that's used mostly by the younger generation. I had already talked about it in a previous video. Se la péter, which is a familiar way of saying to show off. Another way of saying it is se la raconter, but it's slightly less common. And then there's caser, which in this case basically means to slip in. So, caser quelque chose dans une conversation means to slip something in a conversation.
Non, mais cette histoire, elle m'a clairement pris la tête. Enfin bon, anyway.
Non, mais cette histoire, elle m'a clairement pris la tête. Enfin bon. Anyway. No, but the story, it really did my head in. But anyway. Histoire, in this case, is a way of referring to a problematic situation, problematic events. For example, if someone says, Qu'est-ce que c'est que cette histoire? It literally translates as, What's this story? And it means, what's this messed up situation? What kind of messed up situation is that? And as for prendre la tête, ça me prend la tête means it does my head in.
Bizarrement, il n'y a que les bilingues en anglais qui font ça.
Bizarrement, il y a que les bilingues en anglais qui font ça. Strangely, there's only bilinguals in English who do that. Meaning, strangely only bilinguals in English do that.
Je veux dire, il n'y a jamais un mec qui fait...
Je veux dire, il y a jamais un mec qui fait... I mean, there's never a guy who goes...
Non, mais cette histoire, elle m'a pris la tête. Enfin bon, keine problème. Et donc je disais...
Non, mais cette histoire, elle m'a pris la tête. Enfin bon. Keine Problem. No, but that story did my head in. Anyway, keine Problem. By the way, it should be kein Problem, and anyway, you're not supposed to say that in German in that case. That's not what you say, but anyway, let's not digress.
Enfin, je finirai par 4 expressions qui me donnent envie de donner des sortes de claques virtuelles aux mecs qui les emploient.
Enfin, je finirai par 4 expressions qui me donnent envie de donner des sortes de claques virtuelles aux mecs qui les emploient. Finally, I shall finish with 4 expressions that make me want, literally give me the will, to virtually slap the guys who use them, literally to give sorts of virtual slaps to the guys who use them.
Il s'agit des mecs qui disent...
Il s'agit des mecs qui disent... I'm talking about guys who say... There isn't really a perfect English equivalent of il s'agit. If you speak Italian, the Italian equivalent is si tratta di, or the Spanish equivalent is se trata de. It's like a way of saying it's about, what we're dealing with is, what I'm talking about is. There's no perfect equivalent in English.
Bon, pour le week-end prochain, je sais pas. Disons qu'on met une option là-dessus.
Bon, pour le week-end prochain, je sais pas. Disons qu'on met une option là-dessus. Alright, for next weekend, I don't know. Let's say that we keep it as an option. Literally, put an option on it.
Waouh, c'est tellement so 2012.
Whoa, that's so 2012. Actually, what he says is quite redundant because what he's literally saying is, whoa, that's so 2012 because tellement already means so.
Moi, je trouve qu'il me va assez bien ce t-shirt. Ou pas.
Moi, je trouve qu'il me va assez bien ce t-shirt. Ou pas. I think it really suits me, this t-shirt, meaning I think this t-shirt really suits me. Or not. Okay, this ou pas, or not, is a bit like the English not that, say, a 15-year-old American girl or a BuzzFeed journalist would sometimes add after a sarcastic statement to make their sarcasm obvious, as in, whoa, that was a very smart thing to say. Not. Except that in French it's normally not used after a sarcastic remark, but rather after another person's statement to show disagreement in a mocking way, exactly like in Norman's example.
Eh, mardi prochain c'est ma fête, et c'est aussi le jour de la sortie du nouvel album de Daft Punk. Coïncidence? Je ne pense pas.
Eh, mardi prochain, c'est ma fête, et c'est aussi le jour de la sortie du nouvel album de Daft Punk. Coïncidence? Je ne pense pas. Hey, next Tuesday it's my party, probably meaning birthday party, and it's also the day of release of the new album of Daft Punk. You know, translating literally. Coincidence? I think not.
Ça fait mal, putain.
Ça fait mal, putain. Damn, it hurts. Putain can mean lots of different things, and in this case, the best translation is probably just damn. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it useful, please consider sharing it with other French learners. Give me a thumbs up and feel free to ask me any question in the comments.